May this collective reading in honor of the Cancer new moon be in the highest good of all that tune in and be the message we need to hear moving forward. So there, I've said my little prayer, and I just want to say hi and say welcome. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to the channel if you're new, and if you're not new, thanks for following this. I have like a little intimate group, and if you are watching this, have a deep knowing that this message is for you. I wanted to do a special reading for the new moon. It's extra special for me because it's the moon and sun are in Cancer, and it's illuminating my north node, so like my north star, my destiny. And without saying much more of that, there is this idea of Cancer being the archetypal energy of home, of returning home, of source as home. So I invite you to contemplate what home means to you and what going home means to you. Are you at home? Are you at home within yourself? Are you seeking home? Are you at home wherever you go? And you don't have to dwell on these questions. They're just intimately tied to this energy right now. So if you feel called to, go there, and if not, I'll just continue on with the reading. And I just did a long intuitive meditation prior to this, so tapped in. And as I was setting up my cards, I actually started to pull a card from each different deck. I'd like to do just a traditional collective card pull with my white sage tarot after I go through each of these individual cards. They kind of tell their own story and they're interlinked, and it's really beautiful. I didn't want to lay them all out to start because I thought it was a little too visually overwhelming, so we're going to start one by one. And we're going to actually start with this Starseed Oracle card here, which is cracked open. And I'm going to read out of the guidebook. But on the notion of home, I've just felt very called to the night sky, the stars, the energy of the stars, the constellations of the stars. It's in the let's see here. I'm not quite sure how to verbalize this. The energy of going home to me is connected to the stars. And so this is very special card to pull, because as you can see, this physical form has cracked away, and there's this inner illumination coming through. And I've been really connected to this inner illumination, connected to a deeper source of light that isn't influenced by the external world or what's happening in the external world. It's this, and this reading is not about me, but I love that this card has this like shell cracking off, right? And exposing something inside that's more precious. And exactly like, the crab with the tender belly, soft jelly of the crab, right? It's got the shell, but the shell isn't it. It's this this inner substance that needs protected and needs security. So the Cancer archetype is also this need for security, right? which can be what home is. And then that can bring up questions of where do you get your sense of security? What does security mean to you? What is inner security versus external security? On and on and on. But like, don't feel like you have to go there. That's just what's coming up as I'm talking. Let me go ahead and read out of the guidebook, and you can see what that sparks for you. And yeah, I'll try and keep this as like concise and to the point and not too rambly, in case you don't have a lot of time. And also know that if you only have time for this card, then that's all the message you need to hear. So this card says rock bottom and surrender to the alchemy of life. Don't let the weight and density of the world squash your tender spirit. See, that's perfect. Like even that first line, right? I've been feeling that too. And tender, another Cancerian word. It's like tender softness that needs nourishment. So don't let the weight and density of the world squash your tender spirit. Instead, let it call even more of it home and into your body. At the center front of your life, it's through the extreme pressure of life's trials that diamonds are cultivated. It's when things are at their darkest that we cultivate proper faith and our light is ignited. It's through the crumbling that we can allow our wounds to be alchemized. Let your pain, sorrow, and losses make you, not break you, and let life alchemize your tragedies into gold. Be open to being cracked open, wide open. It's the difficult times that help us grow in leaps and bounds, and in ways we could only dream were possible. But first, they have to crack us open, and sometimes it hurts like hell. It's nature's way. Whether you let it happen or not, it's going to. So surrender to the process. So there's a message of surrender here as well. And when your heart cracks open, a space is created for your soul to more fully enter. When your soul cracks open, a space is created for the grace of the Holy Spirit or Source to enter. Let your trials, your sorrows, your pains, and your losses transform you into more of yourself. Stay open to the possibility that your tragedies, your losses, your sorrows, and your hurt happened for you and not to you. Bless the thing that broke you down and cracked you open, because the world needs you open. And surrender to the alchemy of life. So I invite you to just take a few deep breaths and let whatever needs to sink in or integrate from that message just soak in. And I love how it's saying it just has this invitational allowing quality of let what's here be here. Let the process happen and like use it for good. If I could be so bold as to say that, right? To like, and it doesn't have to be, good or bad. It just of that, like, how can you pay it forward? And trust the process, trust the unfoldment, allow the feelings, allow whatever's got on, and then let it be transformative. Let it put you in touch with the deepest part of the light inside so that you can shine that light. Okay, so if that's all the time you have, that's your message for the new moon. It's like the Rumi quote. The crack is where the light gets in. I think we've all heard that one like a lot. And I don't mean to sound like trite or cliche with any of this. You know, it's so easy to forget sometimes. Forget who we are, forget this connection point, forget that, you know, it's like can be so easy to get identified into the story itself or mix our identity into the story. And I love that this is just being like, create a space in your heart to let light shine through, to let source get in and work its magic, that it doesn't all have to be so heavy in the external, or that you're trying to figure it all out. So surrender to the alchemy. And then the spirit animal card I pulled to was the Black Panther. And I think those look so cool next to each other. And there's it's a crescent moon, but like very faint moon in the background in this cave. And the Black Panther can also symbolize the feminine, protection, and death and rebirth. So know that there's like a protective force as you're going through this process of dying to old stagnant energies and renewing. Death and rebirth is also alchemy, right? So there's the thread of the having like the alchemical process be very transformative. And there's also like, you know, there's just some magic within this. The Black Panther also representing, you know, the feminine energies, the dark. The new moon is the dark of the moon. There's just a lot of feminine energy you can call on here to be with you. We've even got, you know, you don't typically picture Black Panthers with water behind them, but there's even like there's an electrical storm in the distance. But this feline is composed, calm. It's not affected by the storm. Like the storm is there off to the side, but it's not focused on the storm. And the water is surprisingly calm, right? And so water is also feminine. So I normally, in the past, I've pulled a spirit animal card at like the very end, but I just thought these two were really intense together. And just also as a metaphor, knowing this like unseen protective force is with you as you're being vulnerable, as you're like letting this old self crack open and fall away, and this new truer sense of who you really are, have a chance to come shine through moving forward. It's like so important to what I feel has been happening. There's a lot of old energies we're just letting like crack off, like, and fall away, so that all the growth we've gone through can come through. And I feel like July is definitely a time where that's happening for a lot of us. in like a brand new way, or really like much more of a profound way than it ever has before. So I thought these were really powerful cards together. And is there anything else that wants to come through about that? I'm seeing this like arch here and this arch here. So again, feminine, circular energy, not linear, not from A to B. And where are we on the circle? Where are we on the spiral? What level on the spiral are we? That definitely wanted to come through. And I love this little candle. It looks like, sorry, I got distracted, but how the flame might go out, but I love how it kind of was looking like the raven's eye to start. Anyways, I need to get some new candles. So I really like that. I feel like that alone could be a powerful reading right there. So if you would like to end there or pause there, feel free. But I want to keep going. So, okay, so the next card, a dear friend gifted me this, and I just remembered the other day, I never sent them a thank you card. I definitely owe them. I gave them like a shout out on here, but that's not as cool as actual mail. So this is the Threads of Fate Lumen Edition Oracle. You maybe heard my little doggy's tags in that. She just got up. And I might read out of the guidebook for this too, but so this card, as I was shuffling, just flew out of the deck. Like it just landed on the table and was like, okay, let's do it like that while we're doing this. So again, you see this theme. Do you see how I said like I pulled a deck from each, like as I was just shuffling, I had just gotten out of this really lovely intuitive meditation led by Jennifer Piercy on Insight Timer, and she's actually a like phenomenal yoga nidra teacher on there. If you want to go do some shorter fall asleep to, check out yoga nidra. I, on a side tangent, also need to do some new recordings. I'm reading the what's her name? Kamini Desai. I'm reading her book right now, and it's really inspiring. So I need to get on teaching that too. But for now, so we have the word is surrender to the alchemy of life in the cracked open card. Then we have the Black Panther, which is literally like death and rebirth alchemy. And then this further emphasis of the eye, the inner vision. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter's in retrograde right now. And it's like I was saying, Jupiter is this non-linear, circular, where you can like enter at any point, right? It's not A to B. It's you can jump wherever you need to go. And that card beautifully symbolizes this with all the different directions. Again, we have another orb theme here, some mystical, stars, this deeper indigo. I don't know if the lighting on the recording, it might look a little more purple, but it's actually, these cards are way harder to film there. That's more what the true color is this deeper indigo that you could even imagine like bathing your third eye, the space between your forehead. Wow, I really like the blue better. And I also love how there's like this crown around the eye, right? So this like higher self makes me think of like a king or queen being sovereign, being connected to your true self, your highest self, and that being what's guiding your inner vision. And that having vision to move forward is really important at this time. That also is coming through. We're not getting too lost in, like, yes, we're letting and allowing emotions to surface as they need to, feel as we need to, but we're like keeping, I don't want to say our eye on the prize, but where can this go? We're like staying true and connected to the higher self, the source within. You know, it's not just with the high, it's not like the higher self is like above us. It can also be the deep connection point within your heart. I feel like that's the message that wants to come through with that card. I don't know that I need to read the guidebook on this one. I might just glance at it and check, but I know sometimes just being read to gets kind of tedious. But yeah, just like what's your deepest vision right now? What's your heart's like deepest desire and longing to shine through, to come through, to be acknowledged, even just acknowledged, right? Like even if it doesn't even seem, whether it does or doesn't seem feasible, like just what is it? I mean, for new moon energy, that's a perfect time to get in touch with that, write it down. You can do some kind of ceremony or ritual around it if you'd like. Oh, there we go. How can you honor the vision, and how can you bring in an element of I want to say asking, right? But like asking higher self, asking source, how to connect to that, how to bring that about, and like how can I surrender to what is right now? How can I accept what is right now and keep this vision in mind and moving forward towards it? I want to say how can I ask for help, but I feel like someone listening is going to resist that for some reason if I say that word. So I'm trying to like weave around that. But maybe someone needs to hear that it's okay to ask for help, be it physical help or spiritual help. What's that like? All you have to do is ask. But angelic forces won't interfere unless you ask, because they honor your free choice and your ability to be sovereign. So just remembering if you need it, you can. And there's something about the light inside, the inner vision, and then the people, like just the fact that these cards are spun in gold, like, you know, like this card was talking about the hardships creating the diamond. You know, we've got the dark storm energy here, and this like death and rebirth spirit animal, and then this I just think of like a pure heart being a gold, like gold, like, you know, like in the traditional chakras, they always say it's like a green energy, but I think of it as gold, like just pure golden light of the sun, right? The heart is the actual sun archetype. That's Leo, which, by the way, Venus, Mars are currently right now in Leo, like together. So you might also have some feminine, masculine union of energies coming together within or without. So pay attention to that. And that doesn't have to be male, female. It's more like, you know, masculine energy is fire and air, feminine energy is water and earth, and then when that's in union, they're all in balance. And then hence the whole divine masculine energy. So there's another side tangent. I meant to bring that up in the beginning, but okay. I know I've pulled this surrender card many times since I got this deck. I'm not going to read you out of the book. It's just this whole, I'm just kind of glancing at it, and it's just this idea of, as humans, we want to control things. So the message is, again, like, can you let a higher intelligence do the reordering of the chaos instead of your mind? Okay, yeah, that definitely feels complete. So we're getting closer to doing an actual spontaneous reading here, not these pre-pulled cards, but okay, so then the next card, my happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. So this also all ties into this. And I'm not a big fan of the word happiness. Like, we could just exchange that with peace or contentedness. Like my ability to just be okay with the present moment is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe, right? So this deeper connection to the source inside, the inner vision, and reactivating a sense of faith when things are dark. Because dark isn't bad. Dark is where there's creation energy. It's the womb. It's the void before form comes through. So if the form hasn't come through yet, like, have faith and stay strong. Allow what's happening to happen, and hold true to your inner vision, your intuition. And then surrender is this act of allowance, which is so Cancerian. And faith is actually Jupiter. So even though this reading's for the new moon, I feel like there's a lot of Jupiter retrograde messages coming through. Yeah, that's just what's coming through right now. So I did an intuitive meditation for a half hour before this, and so intuition is also very Jupiter. Because you have your left brain is mercurial, right? It's the processing data, it's the left brain thinking, and it's very important. But it's how the left hemisphere of the brain works, right? It's very A to B, mathematical in linear time, but the Jupiter right hemisphere of the brain, it's not the Jupiter hemisphere of the brain, it's the way the right brain works is spatial, and so it's more Jupiterian. And it if you ever have like an intuition and you don't know where it's come from, but it proves to be true, or you had like a gut knowing and maybe you trusted it or you didn't trust it, and then later was like, oh, I was so right about that, and wish you had listened, or if you had listened, you're like, oh, thank goodness I listened. And the wording of this card is a little strange, but like the direct reflection, it's just, if things are dark, keep hold of that faith and light inside, and then if you have that faith, that there's more ease as you move through the challenges of the day-to-day. And you might I'm kind of hearing that you might create a space and or stay open to intuitive flashes of insight, inspiration, and intuition, and really listen. And if you can create like space, time, or quiet to be able to do that, that's going to be important this moon cycle. Creating space to just feel, having a safe container to just feel without attaching to narrative or story, just allowing, surrendering, holding the faith. That's really what wants to come through here right now. Um, and then here we have like is that the Vesica Pisces, where it's like the two circles create the third thing? And staying connected to the third thing. We also have, it's like a crescent moon, but the dark of the moon. So a lot going on in that card. Your faith, keep your faith in your vision and what's your connection to source and like what's possible in that space in between the present, the future. There's a lot of glitter happening here. I don't know if the camera quality is high enough, but it's like this glitter of stars and glitter of stars and like the night starry sky with the and the candle's still going. The raven watching over us during this reading. The magic of this reading is still happening. Okay, and then this was actually I'm going to lay down the last card of this little story I'm telling through this individual card pull. But this was actually the first card that came out because I thought I was just shuffling my White Sage Tarot. So 10 of Cups, right? Water, Cancer, flow. So I feel like it's just lovely to lay this down after conveying the story and the message. These individual cards told that there's going to be this overflow of just a wealth of spirit, like a fullness. It's just a very good omen for a card. And then we have the rainbow of infinity symbol at the top. Kind of a message that good things are coming through the process. Trust the process. Let things flow. For better or worse, whatever's coming up for you. There's also like a stability that these the cups are stacked in a stable way, and that leads to the infinity symbol. And it also kind of it's really speaking to this being able to find like happiness, but like whatever this contented or peace, like in the present moment by this message coming through. So it's just a really good positive card to get. So allow your creativity to flow, allow your tears to flow, just allow a deeper flow, connected to the infinite source of life as you move forward with this Cancer new moon, as we progress into the summer months if you're in the northern hemisphere. Okay, I feel like that's such a beautiful message. I almost want to end it here. Do I end it here? Yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. I think that really needs to soak in more than anything else. So there may be a follow-up to this, but this is the new moon message that wants to come through. So, and I don't want to overwhelm you longer than this time period. So this is definitely the special, like the offering I'm giving for this new moon, and I hope it's assisted in your sparking your inner light, intuition, awareness. I hope you heard something you needed to hear. I appreciate any comments or experiences, reflections, anything this has maybe brought up in you. I'd love to hear about it, or anything of the nature. Please share with anyone you think might benefit from this message if you feel called. And just thank you for tuning in and tuning inwards. There may be an actual reading to follow, but I'm going to separate it. So, new moon blessings.